Have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? I know I did for several years before I actually started. I had so many questions, how do I record? Do I need a fancy microphone? Do I need expensive cameras? Do I need to hire somebody? Do I need editing software? Do I need a studio? Do I need a website to, distribute this? How do I pay for a website and hosting? How do I get people to listen? How do I make money? And I struggle with this, and all those questions are the reason why it took me forever to just start. And the awesome thing is that Anchor solves all these questions. They answer all these questions. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. Best of all, it's 100% free and ridiculously easy to use. It's ridiculous. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. I'm just in my third episode in, and this is my first ad, and they're giving me $10 for this ad. It's only $10, but it's a start, and it will lead to more. So if you always wanted to start a podcast and aim to make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start. That's anchor.fm/start in order to join me and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. Can't wait to hear you. Yo, yo, yo. What up? It's Kyle High Club with your host. You guessed it, Kyle. So I'm just going to jump right into it. Just talk about what happened yesterday. Yesterday was the Super Bowl. One of the biggest days of the year in America. I believe it's the most watched television event, at least in the U.S. out of the year, consistently. I don't really pay attention to the numbers anymore, but I remember as a kid it was 40 million plus would watch the Super Bowl. Would be tuning in through their TV to watch it. So it's probably more even watching it. But I just wanted to talk about it. I believe the score ended up being 10-3, the Patriots. And really I want to talk about what I've been seeing from the reactions after the game. I don't want to talk too much about the game itself, honestly, because there's not too much to talk about. It was a low-scoring game. There's a bunch to talk about, but the game itself, I could sit down and watch film and probably critique each and every play and find something in there. But so there's plenty of talk about if you know football and you want to sit down and talk X's and O's and strategy, because that game was beautiful for it. But yeah, that kind of goes in hand in hand in what I want to talk about the game. The reaction I'm getting from most people is that the game was really, really boring yesterday, and I get it. It was kind of boring from an offensive standpoint. Nobody really moved the balls, a lot of punts. I think the Rams punted on 8 straight possessions to start the game. It was 10-3. So, that's really all you need to know, especially in this age of football where you can't touch the quarterback or you can't touch the receivers before they catch it. So it's quite amazing that it's 10-3, and honestly, the reason because of that is defense. It was just a defensive ball game, a very well coached game on both sides of the ball defensively. Patriots were held to 10 points too. Even though they won, they didn't do much either. They kept Tom Brady in check for the most part. But really, honestly, Julian Edelman won that game for them on the offensive side of the ball. They had nobody that could match up with him one-on-one, because nobody can match up with him one-on-one on the defensive side of the ball. It's impossible. Nobody in the league can do it. You might be able to place a really athletic slot cornerback on him, but the receiver knows the routes he's running. The defense doesn't. That's why the offense will always be a step ahead, especially if the receiver is a great route runner. And was very, very quick out of his cuts, like a Julian Edelman. He's excellent at it. He might be the best, maybe better than Wes Welker. I'm sure some other guys out there right now, they're pretty good, but the rapport that he has with Tom Brady is it takes him over the edge. But yeah, I didn't find the game boring last night. I think it's mainly because I like football. I definitely like defensive football. I love a 10-3 game, especially in a fucking Super Bowl. That's just awesome and just basically proves to me everything why I love the game and why it's just a great game overall. Even though the goal of the game is to just drive down the field, put the ball across the other team's end zone while they protect it. I mean, essentially just war. You push the other team's troops back until you reach their base, and that base is the end zone. It's the touchdown. So the defense is trying to defend their base while the offense is trying to take it and score. So it's basically war at the end of the day. But that's why, and as I said earlier, in this game of Age of Football, it's fucking it's an offensive game. You can't touch the receivers. I mean, you can jam them off the line within 5 yards, but you can't touch them at all after that. You have to literally wait for them to catch the ball, and like if they jump in the air for it, you can't hit them. I mean, I guess you can go for the ball and bat it away, but you can't level guys anymore, like you used to, like take out their legs as they're jumping over the middle. That was the best. I used to play safety for a little bit. I played in high school, and then I was on... what did I do? I was on scout team for my freshman year of a very small college. So I wasn't very good, but I had a pretty good defensive coordinator while in college, and he knew a lot. And just from that 1 year, I learned a lot from him. And just football in general. I mean, I knew a lot before that. I was a quarterback when I was younger. And so I knew every person's on the job, like every single individual player. I knew their job on every single play. That was my duty. I had to know every single play, and then back then we didn't have checks or audibles or anything, but if I did, that would have been my job, and I'm sure I could have done it. But who knows? But, yeah, I didn't find it to be a boring game. I love defense. I just think it's masterful when a defensive scheme can stop the offense and basically shut them down and, just shut them down. Especially in both of those offenses are good offenses. The Rams is one of the best we've seen, in recent years, probably besides the Kansas City Chiefs this year with Mahomes. And, the Rams are, and they basically just got shut down. They couldn't really run the ball. They the Patriots stacked the box well, stopped Gurley and Anderson. And when they did throw the ball, they just played, tight on them and just got in their face and jammed them at the line and just played a really physical brand of football. And that's what won them the game, which is being more physical the other team. The lower man wins. And they just outlasted them. Time runs out, but, they did have that pick at the end to stop it. Even without that pick, they weren't going to score the Rams. At most, I think they would have kicked a field goal, but they wouldn't have tried for the field goal. They would have gone for it and failed. Maybe that pick was on fourth down. I don't remember. But, congrats to the Patriots. Congrats to Tom Brady for his 6 rings. He now tied the Pittsburgh Steelers for most rings. So one player has as much rings as not only the New England franchise, but the Steelers franchise, who has the most rings of all time, now tied with the Patriots, obviously. I guess same with Belichick. But they're the best ever, both of them. And if anybody states otherwise, I don't believe you. I believe your opinion, and you could think that, but I just think that's false. I think that's just telling a lie. Well, I guess an opinion can't be a lie. It's subjective, but if you have to be objective, he's the greatest ever if you just look at body work over his career. His stats aren't the best. Like, he's not like Drew Brees stats, but he's got 6 rings. You know, that's MJ status. I mean, nobody else, no other player has 6 rings. I mean, that's all you need to know. And he plays the most important position on the football field, quarterback. And then coupled with the story of being like a 6th-round pick, you know, I don't even think he started most of his games his senior year in college. You know, he was a very under-the-radar guy, and he ends up being the best of all time. And I don't think there's a close second argument, honestly. I think he was already the greatest before this year. And then they won it again. And I kind of predicted this outcome. When the Red Sox won the World Series versus the Dodgers, I predicted that it would be a Boston versus LA Super Bowl. And I'm pretty sure I tweeted that. I tried to find it one day, but it was so long ago I gave up. Because I had other shit to do, I guess. But, yeah, I predicted it'd be Boston and LA, and I thought Boston, the Patriots, would win as well. Just because it seems like every single year that everyone's like, oh, Tom Brady's done. He doesn't have it anymore. He's lost the magic. Him and Belichick, you know, they're having problems. There's, you know, you hear stories through the middle of the year that they're not getting along or whatever. And you're like, oh, this is the end of the dynasty. This is it. They're done. Brady's going to retire after this year, and it's over. Nobody really gave them a shot. I don't think anybody gave them a shot at the start of the playoffs besides Patriot fans. And that's it. I don't remember anybody telling me or hearing from any analyst or anybody that they thought the Patriots would win it all. Now, I didn't think the Patriots would win it all either, but I didn't really know what to think. But I predicted Boston and LA, so I kind of just stuck with that in my back of the head. In the back of my mind, just hoped it'd be true. So I could say I'm right, but have no proof. But, yeah. Makes me feel better, I guess. But it was a good game. Glad they won. Because I bet on them, so I won some money. And honestly, I'm a Tom Brady fan. How can you not like the greatest of all time? It's like saying you hate Michael Jordan. And they're probably very similar people, I bet. Very similar. So yeah, congrats to them. It wasn't a boring game. If you say it's a boring game, fuck you. Go watch Arena League football. If you just want to see offense and no defense, and you just want to see both teams just walk up and down the field with ease, with no resistance, then go watch something else. Go watch arena football. Go watch soccer. That's why football's great. It's because of the defense. That's why nobody watches fucking flag football. Nobody watches 7-on-7. I mean, 7-on-7 is pretty cool to watch. I kind of like it. But it's football because it's a fucking man sport, and you're supposed to hit and stop the other team, while the other team's supposed to stop you from stopping them by going forward. So, yeah, fuck you if you thought the game was boring. I wanted to talk about the halftime show a little bit, but not really. I thought it was good. I like Maroon 5. They have some pretty good songs. I guess the popular ones, I couldn't even name any of them for you. It wasn't very good live, honestly. But I'm sure that every Super Bowl concert live kind of sucks, honestly, because the acoustics aren't set up good, you know. I don't think it's ideal to just play in an open. Well, I guess they're in a dome, but still the ceiling's pretty fucking high. So I don't know. I don't really know enough. But I thought they were good. He was kind of shaky in the beginning. It's pretty cool how Travis Scott entered from the SpongeBob entrance. That was pretty dope. Was that the only time he sung, or was it like appeared on the stage? I don't know. I don't do any research for the show. I just talk about shit, and I probably won't look it up later either. And nobody's gonna tell me because nobody listens. Nobody listens to this, but it's cool. So that was cool, and yeah, Travis Scott did his thing. I think Maroon 5, Adam Levine did another song. I don't even know what the song name was, but it actually got me kind of emotional, which is, it's not weird. It's not weird being emotional, as guys. Most of the day, I'd say probably 24 hours of most days, you spend suppressing your emotions, especially if you get depressed or sad or lonely or any of those what dudes would call those weak ass pussy ass emotions, those bitch ass emotions, we suppress those, so not a lot of times, but as men, as I've found, especially as I've gotten older and less things kind of affect me on an emotional basis, you just get used to life. But it's weird. Things every now and then will just like trigger you, and you'll just get instantly, it's not even sad, it's like a sad happy, to where like it will trigger past memories, either with like a loved one or even just like best friends, like good times hanging out with the homies when you're like 16, playing video games till 5 a.m. or whatever, playing Monopoly till 6 a.m. My friends fucking did that with fucking nerds, playing Monopoly until literally somebody would win. But yeah, as I got older as a man, as you grow into a man, it's weird. These little things will trigger you, and you'll be like, damn, that was a good time. I don't know why, like a song or a movie instance, or even just looking at, your younger siblings, or if you have a child or a pet or something, and you're like, oh, life is fucking beautiful. And I forget the song's name, but it was literally the song right before Big Boy started playing. So it kind of got ingrained in my mind, because literally I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I was tearing up. I wasn't like sobbing, but like I had like a tear or two run down my cheek, because this song, like, I don't know, it just struck a chord. And I was like, oh my God, it's fucking beautiful. It's a Super Bowl, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. And then as I'm in like that nice happy place where I'm like, oh, life is great. Fucking Big Boy comes in, rolling in his car. I think it was a Cadillac. It was a dope car. And then starts doing his shit. And I was like, oh shit. They just switched it up like that. So it kind of stuck in my mind. That was pretty cool. Honestly, I didn't watch the rest of it, so not sure what happened after that. But it was entertaining. The Super Bowl halftime show always sucks. Let's be honest. It always sucks. You're forcing musicians to play several songs in like 20 minutes or something like that. Like it's abnormal. They're not used to it. They're doing it in a large stadium in front of, tens of thousands of people. And they're doing it in front of that many people, but those people didn't pay to see them. At least most of them. Most of them came to watch the game. Like, they're the side attraction. They're the sideshow. The halftime performance. The halftime performance is to cater to the people that aren't there to watch the game. The people that will literally sit down and watch halftime performance because Maroon 5 is in it, or Bruce Springsteen is in it, or whoever. They're just trying to target the general American audience, and honestly, people that don't watch football. And so they usually get somebody mainstream, and yeah, that's why Maroon 5 got it. And yeah, I probably should have got someone from Atlanta. That would have been cool. I don't know if Big Boy's from Atlanta. I know Travis Scott's from from Houston. You know, but all in all, it was cool. I liked the game. Yeah. And another thing, so I'm basically done talking about the game, but another thing I saw was, want to just touch base on real quick, was the Super Bowl commercials. Super Bowl commercials, and I only kind of got this after watching like the first couple like commercial breaks, like the first 2 or 3. I kind of stopped paying attention after that. But they were pretty depressing. Like a lot of them are really depressing, and I can't even think of a single one off the top of my head, honestly. That's how bad my short-term memory is. Probably from smoking weed, but honestly, I always say you just forget shit that it's not worth remembering. So that's why I didn't remember any of the commercials. But I remembered when the halftime thing, touched me. Those are important moments to remember. So I remember the important shit. But anyways, and I thought the commercials are depressing, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I studied business in college, and I always found business kind of interesting. I would read business articles before I started business. Just say business a lot, and people think you're talking about business. And that's a fact. But where's I going with that? Oh, but I'm always interested in commercials and advertisement. Not all advertisement, but at least the super popular ones, especially during Super Bowl, because, as I said earlier, it's the most watched thing in American television, ever, like in the year or whatever, as far as I know. So people at large corporations and advertising firms get together and spend a shit ton of money for airtime, 30 minutes, a minute, 30 minutes, Jesus Christ, that'd be a lot. 30 seconds or a minute, 2 minutes, I don't know how long commercials are. So they can, make an advertisement to the masses to try to influence them to either buy their product or get on board with their service or what have you. Most of them would give you a nice mission statement. They'd say it's to engage customers to help them live a better life for themselves. That's what most of the mission statements are, while making a profit for the company. Be surprised how many mission statements don't have to make a profit for the company, but that's the whole reason of doing business. Probably the only thing they actually operate on. But anyways, I found it interesting that the commercials were pretty depressing because the reason I bring it up, because I think it tells a lot how commercials are portrayed to us, me, you, next door neighbor, the masses, the common folk. I think it's interesting to kind of see what the advertising agencies and these big corporations or PR firm or marketing people think about us. Think about you or me or your next door neighbor or your, blue collar or white collar worker. What do they think? And from watching yesterday's commercials, I'd say they think that we are all depressed, and I don't know. I don't think that off, to be honest. A lot of us are. I get depressed from time to time again, but you just got to keep working. You got to keep moving, keep working out, all that stuff. I worked out before this, feeling great right now. I didn't want to do the podcast. I didn't want to go to work this morning. I didn't want to do anything today. But I woke up a little early. I actually woke up before my alarm. My cat fucking woke me up like she always does. I think she does it on purpose. Trying to tell me to get my shit together. But she woke me up before my alarm, and I was like, fuck you, bitch. And I actually set my alarm later, because I'm like, oh, she interrupted my sleep. Now I need to get extra. And then I laid in bed for a little bit, and then I was like, I think a couple minutes went by, at least 10 minutes. And then I was like, fuck it. And then I just worked out a little bit. I didn't even go hard, you know. I just did one circuit of the shit I do, and that literally flipped the switch for the day. I felt amazing, you know, had morning call, you know, for work, you know, participated actually. Not that I don't always participate, but I'm not the most outspoken guy, especially in a professional setting, because I'm trying to keep my job. I say stupid shit as you know if you listen. But yeah, it just turned the day around, and then I fucking killed it at work today. I got so much shit done. You know, I looked at my tickets in the morning, the shit I had to do, and I was like, fuck, I forgot about all this. I don't want to do this. And then it just kicked in, and I was like, well, and I didn't really consciously think this. I just kind of started working, but I already won the day. I won the day by saying fuck it when I woke up and just did that one little circuit workout, you know. It wasn't much. I sweat a little bit, but I wasn't like, I mean, I breathed heavy at certain parts, but I wasn't dying, you know. I didn't kill myself, obviously, but you know, I put in a decent amount of work, and you know, while tired and shit, and before coffee, before food, before going to work for 8 to 9 hours. Killed it at work, and then I came home, fucking worked out again, and I went after it pretty fucking hard, and now I feel fucking amazing. So I'm a little amped up, but I did smoke a decent amount, so that's gonna kick in here if it already hasn't. I forgot where I was going about that. See, I was going with depression, and then I got on a side road. I think the cure is fucking working out, guys. If you haven't figured it out, just do it. I know it sounds hard, but you just have to do it. You just have to do it. I don't care what you have to do. Trick yourself into going, you know. Tag along with a buddy. That's probably the best way. If you got a really good friend who does work out or is trying to work out, you know, do something together. You know, get closer with another person while you do it. Me, I'm antisocial, so I just like to be weird and do it by myself. But then it feels better because it's more, feel more accomplished because there's nobody pushing me but myself and my own thoughts, and overcoming myself and just trying to be that better person. But yeah, so those are some depressing Super Bowl commercials, and I think they all think we're depressed, and they might not be far off, but what really, and they're not wrong about this either, they know us as Americans, and they know us because they are us, you know. When I say they, I don't really mean they like some evil cabal room of geniuses filled with fucking cigar smoke and whiskey or bourbon or whatever, or scotch. No, I want to say they, it's just people that run corporations, and the group of people in the C-suite, so to speak, the CEOs, you know, CFO, CIO, whatever other C-suite positions there are, I don't fucking know. You know, and the managers and people below them, you know. But the people making the decisions in these companies and who are coordinating with these teams and making these advertisements, what these people think, and you know, they do studies on these, you know, they do fucking what are they called? I forget, but God, it's on the tip of my tongue. But you know, they pull a focus group. They do focus groups and polls and shit like that to find out what American people want or the demographic that they're looking towards targeting or whatever. And so they kind of know us pretty well. I mean, we're pretty easy. They think we're depressed, and they know we like a quick, easy fix. You know, we got everything at the palm of our hands, literally. And we like quick fixes, you know. Back hurts, take a pill. You know, got a headache, take a pill. You know, whatever. We like the quick fix. So it was kind of interesting to see how these commercials are displayed. Like, whoever the character is in the commercial, they seem depressed or like had a depressed life or whatever, or something down about them or something negative. But then when they got the product or the service, their life was better. It was like heaven. And now I'm actually remembering one of the commercials. One of the commercials was a guy who was, it looked like he died. He like came to, it was like a prairie and then a big, or like a ranch house, maybe 2-story house. And there was nothing else around. But his like dad was there, his grandpa was there, and he was like, welcome. He was like, oh, grandpa. And he's like, oh, we've been waiting for you. And you're like, well, I guess you've been waiting for him. I guess it's heaven. And then he's like, I've got something for you. And then they go to the garage and it's this new car. And he's like, oh my God. And he's driving around and shit. And he's having an awesome time. You know, it's heaven. He loves it. And then he gets snapped back out of it into the real world. And it's he's at his cubicle and somebody's giving him the Heimlich and he spits out a grape or something. And he's like, oh my God, what the fuck? And he has a look on his face. I don't think he says anything, but he has a look at his face like he'd rather die and go drive that car in heaven than live his desk job, which I'm sure a lot of people have in America. I'm sure a lot of people do. And it's like, damn. Well, they're saying, hey, if you're depressed, go get the car. It'll be heaven. Your life will turn around. Newsflash, everybody, it won't. In fact, it'll probably just make it worse. Because then you got car payments, and then you don't have money for rent or food or something at some point that you'd have money for later down the road. You know, think about the opportunity cost. Whenever you get something, you're giving up something else. As they say, there's no such thing as free lunch. No such thing. You go to, if your friend's like, hey, let's go for lunch, I'm paying. Like, you don't automatically say yes, do you? Somebody probably do. Oh, yeah, free food? Fuck yeah. But what if you're doing something? What if you have an appointment at that time? Or you have a meeting during lunch, you know, or something. I guess that's an appointment too. But, you know, what if you're busy? The opportunity cost of going on said free lunch is not being able to do something else with your time. Opportunity cost and just cost in general is not limited to money. Just putting that out there. So yeah, it was interesting to see how those commercials played out. And yeah, that's really all I want to talk about Super Bowl. Don't want to talk about it too much more. And now I'll just, I guess, jump into some other things. Let's see, what else do I have written down? Damn, I have some messed up things written down here. Not really messed up, but some people would like them. Okay, yeah. All right, let me get this little token, and I'm gonna jump into this one. So, piggybacking off of how advertisers and large companies think of us, the people, the masses. What's also interesting is to see what politicians think of about us, the people. And I'd say, especially coming up, I guess we're in 2019 now, yeah. So 2020, there's going to be a presidential election. So people are already announcing that they're running and going to start campaigning and stuff. And so you're going to start seeing messages and commercials and, advertisements of these people running. And one thing I've really noticed, and I didn't really notice it before, but I guess I kind of did, but subconsciously, I feel like I say that a lot on here. But you got to be wary of politicians when they say, let's do blah, 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 blah for the middle class. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong for doing things for the middle class, because that sounds absurd. Obviously, we want to help middle class, but my thing is, why are you singling out the middle class? And obviously, a politician is going to say, they're not going to run their campaign on, we're for the rights of the high class, We only support the high class. We're going to make policy for the high class, the upper class people. No politician's ever going to say that. No matter how many millions or billions they have in the bank. No matter how many rich people they love. Or hang out with. Or fuck. But what I want to hear, I'm sure a lot of people want to hear, and it's not even, just throwing money at this, but what about the lower class? I've never heard anybody talk about, hey, I'm running my campaign for the lower class, or for the people that have nothing, or, whatever. Because the thing about saying, I'm for the middle class, yeah, that's cool. Makes sense. If I was a politician, I'd say the same thing. But I'm not a politician. I mean, it just makes a logistical and statistical sense that you're for the middle class. Okay, who's in the middle class? Well, everybody. Because nobody wants to think they're in the lower class, right? Only real honest people are like, okay, yeah, I'm poor. I'm lower class. I guess a lot of people. I don't know. But, just saying, we all like to think we're better than we are. But at the end of the day, middle class is very broad. What does that encompass? 80% of the people? 85, 90? Literally all these politicians or anybody doing by saying, I'm running for the middle class, we have to support the middle class. We got to make them better. We got to raise the upper class. I'm only saying that because they're trying to preach to the masses. They're trying to get the most votes, They're trying to get the most money. They're just trying to be popular, They're just trying to be another fucking actress or some shit. I don't know. And then behind closed doors, they're gonna suck some baker's dick or something. I don't know. Don't take me seriously, please. But it's just interesting. I don't know. I just like them to be honest, because I know you're lying. And everybody else should too. I'm not singling out any person or any politician. They're all lying. Except maybe this, I don't know how to say her name, Alexandria. I should look at her name. But AOC, I'm just going to say AOC. You guys know who I'm talking about. She might be, and I'm sure there's other people out there too, she seems to genuinely care about people, about lower class people. That's why she has these socialistic ideas and tendencies, because she cares about the lower class and those people that have had a hard time or live in rough neighborhoods that just have a vicious cycle of crime and then jail and then crime and jail. And I don't really agree with some of the details and numbers that are put out there, but I get it from a genuine human perspective, because I think that's what we really should be doing. The real problem, just in the world in general, it's not even America, it's just poverty. There's millions of people, and I think there's millions just in the United States that struggle to feed themselves and their families. And that's sad. That's fucked up. As a nation, we should not accept that. We just shouldn't. I mean, yes, I think a man or a woman needs to earn the right to a living and a space and, provide or, just be a part of the system. If you're going to benefit from the system, if you're going to live in this land and live with you're going to allow the government to fight your wars for you, give you protection from other nations that would like to destroy us or, just kill innocent people for no reason. There are fucking bad people out there. And without a government, we would have no law enforcement, we'd have no police, firemen. Even though a lot of those things are government funded, but it's tricky. I think everyone should have to earn their way, but at the end of the day, I don't think you should go starving if for whatever reason you can't work. If you're injured or something, obviously we should have something set up to where, hey, you can at least feed yourself, or if you have any dependents, and you're the only one that can provide, that's a shitty situation. And really the only way we can better society, just even on a global scale, this doesn't have to do with America or even in local communities, is just bettering our youth, is educating our youth. We've shown time and time again the best way to elevate people is through education. Even though education kind of sucks in America, honestly, you can learn more from the internet nowadays and some online academies and stuff, but that's still education. You don't have to go to an institution to get an education. Just education in general, I don't care how it gets out there, is vital. And I think it's the only way we can change this world. It has to be generational changes, and the only way is by uplifting the youth and making sure the next generation has a better, a higher step to start from. And each step should be going upwards. I don't find any rational person that would disagree that and say the step should be flat. The next step for the generation should be flat or down. No, it should always be up, and that's what we should strive for. We should always strive to be better as a society and just as people in general, as individuals and in a group. And so I'd like to see, I don't know, just somebody that, you're not going to find it, because anybody that runs for office isn't running because they want. Maybe there are some people out there that are genuine and care and want to rebuild, whether, just poverty-stricken areas of just in America. Just make them better. I don't really know the best way of going about that, honestly. I'd say, set up rec centers, where it'd be basically a safe place for kids to go after school or something, or before school. Even adults can go there and have classes and stuff like that. They can have educational or instructional classes as well, and who knows, cooking, fucking whatever it is, Kids could just go blow off steam after school and get their aggression out and not end up, looking elsewhere for parental advice. You know, that's one of the worst things is when a child doesn't have somebody to look up to. You know, and even just a parent to say yes or no, or you can or can't do that, or this is basically to teach right from wrong. I think there's some things within us intrinsically that we know is right and wrong. But it's got to be learned too, and a lot of times you got to be told what's right from wrong instead of just doing it and finding out the consequences, because some consequences are too deep. There's no turning back, and I think that's what we want to prevent, you know, lost childhoods and lost adults because they had lost childhoods. I don't know how to go about that. I guess, I mean, I said before, education would be great. Building rec centers, I think that, and like the local communities might be the best thing. I don't know, and just improving education from there and going, and I don't know, it'd be nice to see a politician say something like, I mean, I'm sure they say it all the time. I don't even want them to say it. It's not, I don't know. I just want it done. You know, where are all these rich people? Like, we have so many rich people in America, and celebrities, and there's vast amounts of money here. And, like, I don't understand how, and we're spending so much money on foreign wars and trying to uplift fucking other country, you know, third world countries, or not even third world countries, just other countries in general, and we don't even have our own in order. We still have lots of poverty here, lots of homelessness, and a lot of veterans in both those categories, which is just sad. People that, you know, not all the times, you know, sometimes people go in the military because they want to and they have to, not because they have to, but because they want to and they love this country. But a lot of times, you know, people that go into the military, you know, it's kind of their last option and they don't know what else to do. They're lost. I could speak of that from experience, not really myself, but my dad and a good friend of mine, they both had similar stories where they were dropouts and, you know, fuckheads when they were kids, and they basically knew that if they didn't go in the military or do something productive, you know, they basically knew if they didn't do something productive with their life, they were going to end up dead or in jail. And so they decided to go in the military, and that's a fucking incredible decision to do at a young age. I'm not saying everybody that's in trouble should join the military, but it's sad that I'd say there's a good amount of people that join the military are similar in that way, to where it's like their last option, and they know, like, okay, I either do this, and, you know, and the government's going to hold me out, pay my way, and you're going to train me, you know, it's going to suck, they're going to discipline me, you know, basically take your rights away. They're going to build you into a fucking man. You know, they build you into a soldier, and they give you a purpose. You know, some guys come back fucked up, you know, especially seeing shit over there. You know, seeing your buddy dead, or even killing other people. I can't imagine that. It's just awful, and it's sad that people that they turn to their last like this is their last option, and then it still fails them even after they've served and seen time and risked their life for all the shit that we all take for granted. Like, you can just go down the street and get fucking McDonald's and just get fat as fuck and not care and worry about anything and die when you're 40 and not give a fuck about your kids or anything like that. You can just be oblivious to everything. While people are out there and homeless, and, you know, their brains are all screwed up, and, you know, they don't know what's reality. You know, and every night they go to sleep seeing their buddy die in their arm and being under gunfire. You know, they're sleeping under bridges, you know. And, maybe that's someone himself, but at a certain point, human beings can't take that. They just break. We break. And we're not meant for this reality. We grew up as hunter-gatherers. DNA doesn't really evolve that quickly as we have and as technology has, especially with, electronic technology today. Like, I don't know. I don't think we're meant to see some of these, warlike shit that people see now, and people just break. And it's sad that even their security blanket failed them, And I don't know, I think that's what we should really focus on in this country, and not even this country, in the world. A lot of the world doesn't even have clean water. Like lots of parts of Africa. I don't know about a lot of the world, but I know there's several million people out there that don't even have clean access to water, and have to walk miles just to get it. And we're worried about the Super Bowl being boring. Or we're worried about fucking toxic masculinity. It's silly. It's really silly. I don't know. I only have 10 more minutes left. Kind of started to get on a bad note of that. I don't know. I would just I don't know. I would just like to see why isn't money poured into these developments in neighborhoods that we know for a fact and for decades have just been oversaturated with crime and violence, and domestic abuse or, illegal drugs, illegal hard drugs. Why? I guess because there's no money in it. That's messed up. It can't all be about money. We're all people at the end of the day. When you die, none of that money's going with you. Sure, you can pass it on to your kids, but if that's the case, do you want your kids to love you for who you are, or do you, and actually love you, or do you just want them to think, oh, Dad was awesome because he gave us a lot of money? I don't know. I'd say both. I want both. That's what I want. I don't have kids, but that's how I like to think of things. Even though I'm fucking 24, I don't plan having kids for a while. But whoever plans, right? I don't know. I'd like to see, people, what we really should just do, and Killer Mike talked about this on the Joe Rogan Experience, and I'm sure he's talked about it everywhere else, but this is where I heard him talk about it. He said those that, have money, and, quote unquote, make it, need to give back, and that's just a fact. Give back to the communities you came from. And just reinvest, just as you would reinvest in a business, That's one of the top rules, if you make a profit, you don't go out and spend it. You reinvest in your business, you make it better so you can make more. And that's really the goal. And I guess, you can't really think of it as a business if you're going to reinvest in your community, because you're not going to make a profit as far as monetarily wise. You will. I don't know if you really, really will. You individually will not in the long term. But that community will in the long term. You reinvest in your community, build a small business or buy a small business there. If you have the money, purchase some apartment buildings or something, renovate them or whatever, I don't know. Open a restaurant. Do something. Build a rec center. Do what LeBron did. I want every fucking famous person to do what LeBron did. What the fuck? Why is he the first person that's doing this? that has opened up a school back where he's from for kids. And he's like paying for all of their shit. I know it's publicly funded, it's a public school, so it's all, taxpayers are paying for it, but that's how public school works. That's how a lot of things work, people, you fucking fucks. We're all paying for shit that you don't even know, that we all use on a daily basis, you don't even know. Don't even realize how lucky we are. But like, why are more famous people need to be doing that? Like, what are you guys doing? Johnny Depp, why do you have 40 houses, bro? Take those houses and rent them out. Make them shelters, make them homeless shelters. Make them fucking orphanages or something. I don't fucking know. Do something. Say you just have empty houses all over the world, and I know you can't afford them, but hey, if you rented them out to fucking homeless shelter, you get some money back. Pretty sure the government would pay you a little bit, Then you got free money rolling in. I don't know. That's what I do. I think, I'm kind of a little stingy with my cash right now, but that's because I'm trying to build myself right now. I'm nothing right now. I'm nothing. I don't have shit for myself, I could get in a serious accident and I couldn't pay. I'd die. Just because I couldn't pay for it. I'm going to have insurance and that stuff, but if a crazy emergency or accident happened, I'd be fucked, and it'd spiral into shit. And I'm pretty sure that's the case for all of us, because I saw a statistic. I don't know if it's real or not. I can't trust anything anymore. But essentially, excuse me, if you heard that internal burp, that was kind of weird. I tried to get it externally, but it burped. I literally felt it. It was in my stomach, and it came up to the middle of my chest and kind of just stopped there and dissipated. It was weird. I forgot what I was talking about. Good thing I have less than 5 minutes left. Yeah, I saw a statistic that 60% of Americans don't have enough money saved up for $1,000 emergency, which I couldn't believe. That's just crazy to me. $1,000 is not much. No matter what accident you get in, $1,000 isn't paying for shit. It's barely paying for a car. That's not. What kind of car repair is that paying for? You can't even repair your car if you get in an accident off that. Sure, you have insurance to pay for it, that's why it's there. But if you have to pay for it out of pocket, that's just wild. I don't know. I don't have much, but I'm sure most of us don't. But the goal, I think, is to make more. Instead, yes, you should reinvest back in your business, reinvest back into yourself, reinvest back in your community. And I guess you can do that through your business as well, and as yourself, just do things that benefit people, motherfuckers. I don't know. I'm struggling with it. I'd love to fucking open a school one day, but I don't think where I grew up needs it. I grew up next to the beach, so the last thing we need is another fucking school or a rec center. There's already too many. But I'd get back to a city nearby or something like that. Or even, I don't know, somehow. Honestly, I'd probably just get back to family members and help on that. That's the most direct way I can. It's not even monetary-wise. It's more advice-wise and just things as I learn, as I grow. Try to grow. I just sound like a fucking douche and asshole telling people what to do right now. But it's whatever. Just mansplaining here. Don't mind me. So I'm going to wrap it up. Again, congrats to the Patriots. And congrats to all the people that bet on the Patriots, like myself, and wanted a decent amount of change last night. So congrats, and keep on trucking.